Lord Wolfson, thank you for joining us in our studio box here at the BMF conference.
It's a pleasure.
We have a few very quick questions to ask you. You have a very tight schedule, I appreciate. Just some questions picking up on your keynote speech earlier. We see some very excellent results from retail generally, perhaps, and definitely from the merchanting industry. Is that really a reflection that the economy is on the mend? And if it is, how relaxed should we be that is the case?
Well, the economy is definitely on the mend. Employment is at record levels. Consumer credit's coming back into the economy. Mortgage credit's coming back into the economy. Housing transactions are back at more normal levels. Real wages are beginning to stop declining so that people aren't getting poorer at the rate they were over the last 4 or 5 years. So there's good reason for hope, but there's also reason for vigilance, and that is that there is a risk that the growth in the economy will all be channeled into asset price inflation, house price inflation in particular, and won't end up as real growth in real things, the building of new houses, new shops, new services, new hospitals, new roads, the things that this country desperately needs.
So you were speaking about funneling the proceeds of the success of the economy. Is that what we're talking about, the infrastructure?
Yes, I mean, I think there's a job on infrastructure for government to do, and only government can do that. But I'd hate for people to think that it's somehow government's job to tell the economy how to grow. Actually, what government should do is allow the economy to grow in the way that it wants to grow. And that doesn't involve politicians sitting down and telling people where to build houses or what houses to build. It involves quite the opposite. It involves releasing land and then letting the free market and the collective intelligence of the builders merchants, the architects, everyone who's involved in building those homes, build the homes that people most want to live in. It's about liberating the economy rather than directing it.
So in your keynote you were talking about the block that planning creates and the time it takes. And some great analogies in there. I'll refer people to the keynote speech online. But if the merchant community have any political lobbying to do, is that where they should be placing their efforts?
Yes, they should start with the planners, the local councillors, and what's interesting is that people will listen to reason if you shout loud enough. And harness local media as well. If you've got a project that you want to get through planning and the planners have just said, well, we're going to turn it down, go to local media and tell them that you plan to build, a new builder's yard, or you plan to build a new shop, or you plan to build new homes, and the benefits of that and how many jobs will be created. And people actually, far from being horrified, you'll find a lot of people will get quite excited about it. And then it's difficult for local politicians to turn it down. But you've got to fight the battle. You can't just turn up and accept the no that you'll almost always get at first instance. You've got to fight your corner.
So it's not them to do it, it's all of us to do it.
Exactly.
Including the merchants.
Everyone. There are too many people in this country who sit back and say, why don't they do this, why don't they do that, why don't they do this? Who is they? They are the people that we put in power, and it's our responsibility to try and change things. And if we don't do it, no one else will.
And Simon, I have one last question. It's talking about the merchants. We've been talking about developing young people in merchanting and investing in their training and their commitment to in effect, a trade. And perhaps they need it even more so if they've got to take on the lobbying. But is this something that you would really be focusing on and focusing our attention on? Would you say this is the right thing?
Absolutely. Good people are the key to every business. It's almost a platitude to say that. That if you get the right people who have energy, intelligence, who want to work hard, who are enthusiastic, keen to learn, those people will deliver you success. And the key, my view is that the key is to recruit for attitude and then train for skill. Because if people have the right attitude and the basic skills, reading, writing, algebra, maths, if they have the basic skills and the right attitude, then you can take them to places that they would never have thought they could get to, just with that good attitude and your training. And one of the things I think is rather sad about today's society is how often we fall back on requiring graduates rather than just saying, no, we're going to take trainees. Because actually there are a lot of people who haven't got a degree who will be brilliant at their job. And if you get the right attitude, everything else will follow.
A clear challenge. Simon Wolfson, thank you very much.
It's a pleasure. Thank you.